Hello and welcome to my weather forecast. In this video, I will be talking about the long-range weather pattern as we head into the middle of March. So let's dive right in. The Climate Prediction Center's forecast, or at least the CFS, the climate forecasting system as they use for a model here, predicting the long-range future. This is some colder air coming into the country as we head into the week here of through the 15th of the month, so right through the middle of March. And you can see a lot of cold air, a big dump of cold air across the Intermountain West and portions of the Midwest, upper Midwest, the southern plains, even getting as far south here as southern Texas to the Mexican border. So a lot of cold air being dislodged, and this is actually has to do with a split of the polar vortex pushing down across the region as we head toward the middle of March here. Let's move this along a little bit. Move this along, rather. You can see some warmer temperatures pushing up here into the northeast and much of the eastern part of the country, 2/3 of the country, producing warmer than average temperatures that could be pushing 15 to even 20 degrees or more above average. And this is taking through about the 22nd, 23rd of the month. March, and very well could actually take us to the end of the month. So spring, guys, is right around the corner. Now let's look at forecast models here because we do have a couple of storm systems to watch out for. So there's a lot to unpack here. So let's get right into it. The GFS showing quiet conditions across much of the country at the moment. Some rain down here into the southern plains, into the southern deep south regions, and then you can see some snowfall here up into the Intermountain Northwest portions and into the Northwest with some snowfall, just kind of a nuisance snow, so no big snows. But this right here is actually the next storm system I'm going to keep an eye on, as this will dive down here into the center of the country and move up along the eastern seaboard, and this could potentially result in kind of an New England nor'easter type of weather event, so we'll have to watch for that. So let's go along in time here. The GFS, this is getting into around early Wednesday morning, and you can see one piece of energy moving here across the lee side of the Rockies into the Rockies region, and then you have another piece of energy here across the southeast with a low pressure center just to the north and east of Atlanta and east of Knoxville, Tennessee. This will continue pushing to the north and east and bring some lighter snowfall accumulations for portions of the northeast here, maybe a few inches. I'd say about 1 to 3, could be an isolated 4-inch total here within this for areas such as Boston, a little bit of a rain snow mix down here toward New York, maybe all rain in southern portions here of Pennsylvania. And as you look at the snowfall forecast here, like I said, only 1 to 3 inches, maybe a 4-inch total. This model may be a little underdone. I think there's going to be a little more moisture fetched into the system. So add maybe another couple of inches on what you see here, I think would be a good bet. Let's go back to the model forecast here of the GFS, and you can see as we go along in time here, that snowfall will move out as we head into Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then another spoke of energy moves into the central plains. Now this one could produce kind of more of a broader swath of snow across the center of the country, and this is actually around midday here on Thursday, early in the morning into midday, and kind of breaking up with the energy a little bit, not really a lot of oomph to get it going. So just maybe a couple inches of snow across the middle of the country here. And then as we go through time, this is going to be getting into Friday morning now. You can see a stationary boundary or a cold front kind of will be centered around, North Texas Panhandle through Oklahoma, Missouri, through central Illinois into southern Michigan. And this will provide kind of a focal point for some snow showers to develop, potentially even a few more inches of snow across this region. Models have been trending a little farther south with the snow here with these last recent runs, and you can see kind of a broad 1 to 3 inches across most of Missouri, maybe getting down here toward Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Oklahoma, maybe getting close to Lubbock, Texas, maybe getting a half an inch worth of snow potentially as far south as there. Some more snowfall getting up towards portions of Detroit, Indianapolis, Paducah, maybe getting up to an inch, half inch of snow there out of that. And then as we go through time, you can see this pushes up into the northeast, and a very big low pressure system center will be centered kind of on the far eastern portions here of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and portions here of eastern Massachusetts. So it'll be all rain, I think, for Boston. This will be a more inter-New England type snow event where areas such as, Pennsylvania, New York, portions of Vermont, and New Hampshire potentially could get several inches of snow. And this is actually noon on Saturday this weekend. So, and it has a 979 millibar low here in the Northeast. So, a very powerful storm system. And this will continue to deepen as it pushes even into the Canadian provinces here. 950 millibar low. So, this is going to pack some very big wind. You can see the isobars very close here. And as I go down here, you can see winds will be howling. We could have wind gusts here, or at least sustained winds of about 20 to 30 miles per hour across most of the Northeast here. And then you could see gusts that could potentially be mixed down from a few thousand feet up that could be gusting as high as about 50, perhaps even 60 miles per hour with this storm system. So that will blow a lot of snow around. You'll have a lot of travel difficulties in these areas. So something to definitely watch for. In the snowfall forecast here, you can see big snow is definitely a possibility, if not a likelihood, for portions of the Northeast, kind of more into the New York State and into, Vermont, New Hampshire, portions of western Maine, down into portions here of Pennsylvania, getting down into West Virginia, and kind of down the spine of the Appalachian Mountains. I say a good bet here of about 5 to 8 inches of snow. Localized areas could get up to a foot of snow, especially centered on northeastern and northern portions of New York State, up into here Vermont, New Hampshire, maybe even western portions of Maine. So some very heavy snows is definitely a realistic possibility here as we head into the weekend. We definitely have to watch that. I do expect winter storm watches to be in effect here starting probably around Friday or Saturday this weekend. So definitely a time frame to keep an eye on. Now let's go over to the Canadian model because this one is similar in tone here because you can see a little spoke of energy, a couple inches of snow here into the Northeast, this low pressure right off the coast here. And this is on 6 p.m. here on Thursday. And then you can see, 6 p.m. on Wednesday, you can see the storm is kind of moving along, more progressive in nature. And then you can see that elongated front, like I was talking about, from Oklahoma, southern Missouri, northwest Arkansas, southern central Illinois, up toward Indianapolis. A few inches of snow here, about 1 to 3 or so inches. And then that will progress to the northeast, and a very big low will develop, 987 on this run. And on this particular Canadian forecast model, this takes the low a little farther to, the east. So you can see a little more snow trying to sneak in here to western Massachusetts, trying to get in towards New York. And kind of the same theme here, a lot of wind, but it does not produce a lot of wind as much as the other model, the American GFS, because the low is a lot farther to the east. So a little bit of a track difference here. We'll have to keep an eye on that as we head into late this week, but definitely a big snow producer. As you can see, about probably another 5 to 8 up to a foot of snow for this model. However, the bigger snows with this might be focused more along the Canadian province, maybe eastern Maine up toward Caribou, areas like that. And then, so, on this model, a little more bullish across the central plains. I don't think there's going to be this much moisture available in the central plains, so I don't think we're going to see 7 inches in Kansas City, 5 inches in Wichita, Topeka. I think we'll say around 1 to 3 inches in this general zone, and then getting heavier as we push into Ohio, West Virginia, and portions to the north and east. I could see 5 to 8 with up to a foot of snow, a definite possibility. Now, moving along here, let's go to our European model. And the European model, same type of thing, 8 to 12 inches of snow, 5 to 8 inches, up to a foot of snow is what I'm generally thinking for portions here of much of the Northeast. And this model in particular, the European, very highly regarded and reliable for snow systems, especially this time of year, and it's performed very well. And it's actually producing a lot of snow for basically the entire Northeast. So, like I said, winter storm watches, I think, are going to be coming as we head into late this week. So do be prepared. Don't put your winter boots and winter gear away yet. Get those snow blowers ready because they will be humming, I think, into this weekend across much of the Northeast, for that matter. And same model here. This is the European. I wanted to bring this along because if you are hoping for some spring-like weather, boy, do I have the news for you. There's a lot of warm air after these two storm systems kind of move away as we head in toward the middle of March, and definitely looking at a lot warmer of a pattern as we head into the middle of March. This is around the 15th time period. We're going to start there, and you can see a lot of warm air being fetched into the middle of the country. 70s, 60s perhaps, as far north here as South Dakota. So some very warm spring-like air. Temperatures could be pushing into the 80s even here into much of Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. So definitely get ready for some spring-like warmth as we head toward the second half of the month. And you can see here, it's not going away anytime soon. You could definitely see, 70s, 80s, and much of the Central Plains, Southern Plains, Deep South, Florida, Texas. You're going to be seeing a lot of warm air. And I think as we head later into March, this is a little concerning to me, as there will be a trough trying to develop across the western part of the country with a ridge into the east. And a lot of times with these patterns, there's a kind of slightly progressive in nature, and once these troughs kind of eject out of the southwest and push into the north and east, they could really produce some very violent weather potentially in the modes of severe weather, tornadoes, damaging winds, large hail, very heavy rain, you name it, flooding that go along with it. Definitely something to monitor, but that will be later in March, I think, as the pattern starts to break down. But definitely, this is what could be up and coming, everyone. So a lot of warm air. If you're hoping for a lot of that snow melt across the Midwest, if you still have snow on the ground, that definitely will become here a likelihood as we head toward the middle and end of March. And I think that I've covered most of the weather forecast here for at least the next couple of weeks. I will have another update as we head into later tonight or tomorrow morning on this, and we will definitely focus more on the snowstorm here to the northeast on tomorrow's video, and kind of zone in on how much snow we could expect here. But definitely get the snow blowers and shovels ready, because I think a major winter storm is possible, if not likely at this point, across much of the north and east as we head into this next weekend. So thank you for watching my video. Be sure to subscribe, and I appreciate you guys watching my video. And if you have any comments on any of my weather forecasts, please don't hesitate to ask. I will be available to answer any of your questions. So thank you for watching.